a little bit more deeper about Rosh Hashanah. You have this wonderful gift. Imagine getting an invitation to have the privilege to see a king present, or to be on television. It's going to be coast to coast throughout the whole world, and it's going to be in satellite, and everybody, 100 million people will be seeing you, and you have this privilege of it happening to you. Whatever it is. Let us think of the privilege that the Almighty gave us permission the Almighty gave us permission to use our free choice. Imagine the gift that the Almighty gave us permission to use our free choice to do something which automatically could be forced upon us. The Almighty is the King, the Master of the Universe. You like it, you don't like it. You can holler all you want, and scream all you want. But at the end of 120 years, end of a quarter of a century, or 100 years, 300 years, whatever it may be, comes the wind, and comes the rain, and takes the civilization, be it the Aztec Indians, or be it a place in India, or in the Grand Canyon, and all of a sudden they'll find out that these big tall buildings that they build, what happens to it? Just a little fossil that you find, and it's finished. Be it 1,000 years, 5,000, whatever you want to say, it just disappears. He's the boss of the universe. You like it, you don't like it. You're stuck on this planet, no matter whatever you can do. And what's there to ask you advice, what you want, or how you like, I like this and I like that. You're not in a certain sense of jail. You're stuck with the rules. You're going to argue with nature. No, I'm not going to follow nature. I'm going to stay up 5 days, and I'm not going to eat, and I'm going to jump from a roof, and I'll find out I won't kind of fall, because I think and I dream and I think, and I want to fight against the rules of nature. Well, you never. Give it a little bit of change, whatever it is. So now we have the golden opportunity, permission, to use our Bechira to accept himself as the King, as the Master Universe. Now, what percentage is going to come on yourself? 20%, 10%, 30%, and the rest is going to be anyway on your body, on yourself, and your circle, and your wife, and your children. Anyway, he's the boss. The question is, how much permission are you giving yourself to utilize that golden gift that you have of Bechira to be able to put upon yourself the old Malchus Shamayim? And one way of knowing old Malchus Shamayim is how much you're going to follow his mitzvahs all the way, part of the way, 30%, 50%, 80%. How much you're going to accept the Chachamim and accept the minhagim of the place and the Chachamim. What percentage? Maybe 80%. The other 20%. My nafkemina, the other 20% can produce apikourses. We have this golden opportunity. Animals don't have that opportunity. The frogs don't have the opportunity. The frog is singing more psalms than David HaMelech. He doesn't have that opportunity. The Malachim don't have that opportunity. There's Kodesh, Hashem's Malach HaTzvayda. No shadow, but there's no opportunity in the army. You don't do what the army says. They shoot you, they kill you, you're finished. We have this golden opportunity to be able to have the Bechira. What does Hashem want? Because by nature, man must bend to nature. At the end, man must bend to the world. And there's a Mishnah like that. Very interesting Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Elazar Kaf Omer, it's Perek Revi, Mishnah Chavtes, Bal Korcha Tochai, Bal Korcha Meis. You're forced. There's no such thing as freedom. Certain things Time comes, you're forced, you have to have. We have to talk more about it. I want to leave the topic a little bit, because today, Jeremy wanted me to talk about a eulogy for Mr. Captain Berger. Captain Berger was one of the few people who used to support the Yeshiva. And Yeshua Ben Yehuda got him, and then she gave Yeshiva money every year, about $10,000 to $20,000 for the past years. And then just recently Jeremy contacted his father's community, and he left the world. So it's only fair that we mention him. An interesting person. He was one of the big first supporters of Boys Town, and he helped a lot of people. He had no children, has no children. He owns ships, big ships, and he has a big shipping company, owns ships, and he tells over the story that when you're on a ship, it's pikuach nefesh. Since it's pikuach nefesh, so you're allowed to do anything on a ship. Allowed to eat tray fish, out of that. So since he was on a ship, pikuach nefesh, he married this Goyish Syrian girl. Okay. But he was able to handle, but he still gave to Jewish causes. He was a poor boy in his lifetime. And the only institution left that he gave very little bit compared to his wealth. They named the whole law school in Cornell University after him. So she tells us how much money over there. But anyway, at least for us, in the years that he helped the yeshiva. He was a nice man. He would not. I would call him up to see him. He would not see me unless he would give me a donation. When he would see me, he would always complain, blah blah. Then he would give a donation. I only felt that's fitting that. I don't know why Jeremy's not Jerry in his contact, his father knows him, that we say a good word about the man. He's a man, when he gave with his full heart. Till he gave, he complained, injustice about the world, blah, 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 all kinds of stories. But at the end, he told the line, tzedakah, tatzah mimora, tzedakah is a big thing. And he gave a lot of stuff. In Boys Town, he gave $1 million, talking in 1980. When Boys Town started. And he gave all over the years, money here and money there. And then he felt bad about Israel for some reason, I don't know what. And he didn't want to give any more tzedakahs in Israel. But he gives to local shul. That's Rabbi fenced the synagogue. There's a wing over there that he built. And a pleasant person. He would talk. And what do we see from here? He knew at the bottom line, tzedakah. He knew that he did averis and he did wrong. Well, he had to rationalize it somehow. But he knew at the end the bottom line is what? Moshe emes, Tarasa emes. And he knows you got to give tzedakah. He knows you got to support orthodox religious institutions. You want to help people. This surely went to as a concern, okay. But he knows he knew the line. He came from parents from Europe that knew what it was. And the reason for that is in every neshama, the bottom line. Emes, we said, according to Rabbi, is a yesod in the nefesh. The fact that we are Jewish, of Naseh and Nishma, is a yesod in our nefesh. The guy converts to another religion, doesn't help him. Why not? Okay, there's certain dinim where you apply him, but at the end, he's still a Jew. You can't take that away. It's an integral part of it. And the fact that God is the king of the universe is an integral part of it. You can't take that away. And there's certain truths that people recognize. They don't like it, they dance around, they complain. But at the end, tachlis. At Rosh Hashanah time, it's tachlis. Where are you? Where am I? It's a point of truth. And if everybody is obligated at this point of truth to face his Creator. I'd like to read a little bit if I have a few minutes more. I thought he'd be coming. It's a very interesting thing. He has a circle. Hayeludim lomos v'meisim lichyos v'chayim lodos leida lodia livoda shehu kel. Any way you turn in the puzzle, this way, that way, you're not the boss. Nobody's the boss. That's very good. You want to be a coffee toad. from somebody, you save. You give a guy a favor, you take, not you, get it from God. Anyway, whatever you have is not yours anyway, it comes from God. Coffee tov. You know what I mean? It's all God anyway, it doesn't belong to you. You know what I mean? Okay. Thank you for your good feelings, but it really has to come from God because blah, 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 coffee tov. But at the end, he doesn't really believe in Hashem because he just wants to be a coffee tov. He believes everything came from God. The guy would be religious, he'd put on his tefillin, he'd have a karsa tov to the people, because the Torah says have a karsa to the people. He'll give you things. It'll be a different world. But anyway, any way in the crossword puzzle you get, any line you go, you got to come out, he's the boss. David HaMelech was smart, but at the end, what happened? Yeah, very simple. He danced, this, that, whatever he did. Everybody has to know that Hashem's the boss. Shlomo Melech's Chochmah, he thought he knew more, and he reasoned, and Noshim, and Mitzrayim, whatever it is. At the end, God said, listen, I feel a kutzil shayur, even a little yud of the Torah, you cannot remove. I'm the boss. The Torah is emes, Moshe emes, and the world goes on, with us, without us. Building, without building. Torah, no Torah, the world goes on, and the master plan unfolds. The question is, do we want to be part of that master plan? Do we want to be one of the reasons why the world was created? And the way to start, we mentioned the beginning of Elul, is your heart. Emunah, bitachon. You can fool your wife, and you can fool the Rabbi, and you can fool yourself, but you can't fool God. Because there's a machine that takes out. I'm taking pills, I'm doing that, that's all nice. That's all cosmetics. Tachlis, where are you? Rahman Ali, God wants you, where is your heart? But I believe, okay, good. So Avshalom thought that he was okay, and Korach thought he's okay, and there was Cain and Hevel, everybody thinks they're okay. Everybody thinks they're okay. Hitler thought he's okay. Everybody knows. Man says, I'm not okay. Who says I'm not okay? Everybody says, I'm okay, you're not good. Or you don't understand me, and you have to understand, and rationalization. Well, that's all good stories for man. Man to man, man to himself. When it comes to man to God, that's it. There's nothing else. And that's Yom HaMisa. And I brought down the Or Yisrael. Or Yisrael says, what's better? A child is born, or somebody dies? Child is born, everybody's happy, but why are you happy? Who knows what the kid's going to come out with him? Who says he's going to be Yireh Shamayim? Who's going to keep religion? Who says what? Who knows what mitzvahs? Who knows? Maybe go to Ganem. But the whole purpose of beginning of life is the end. But when a man dies, you know what he did. I can add up how much he gave to the Yeshiva. Maybe $200,000 in the period. That's a big thing. Helped us support the Yeshiva in the period of the years that we know him. He gave $1 million too. So the tzedakah speaks for itself. Helped those kids. Became religious and helped everything else. Helped him. I know it may help to make a synagogue with his money. An Orthodox. Help people. Okay, so those are deeds that I know. Maybe there's many other deeds that he did, and maybe other bad things that he did. But anyway, the good things are there. And we are going to mail it's Yosha for him on the Shloshim, that Hashem should reward him for helping out to a place that he really doesn't know that much. Because he understood the union of tzedakah, understood it of Orthodox Torah. Even though it wasn't Orthodox, he understood what Orthodox was. Whatever the reason. And that schus should help him out, even Nishmasai, in Gan Eden, Tevim Nechasai. I just want to say, Kel Molly, they give me a sitter, I'm going to tell you something. Pretty good, right? What's your captain? Captain of a ship. Captain of a ship. Your own ships. Had a big fleet. Each ship costs what today? A couple of $1 million, $6 million. You have 20 of those, 30 of them. You have a little money, no? Maybe find me Kel Molly. I want to say Kel Molly Rachman for the guy. What? What? We were saying a Kel Molly for him. I already spoke about him. Maybe you'll say a Kel Molly for him. I'll say a Kel Molly. You can say a few words too. Okay. I mean, have a lot of hakor satov to the guy. Right. Okay. Right.
Right.
I just got to tell you a true story before I go. My brother Jerry, he was a rabbi in Maine. And there's one guy that everybody took so bad about the guy. Terrible, bad. What he did was he gave him a Vilna Shas. He gave my brother. And when the guy died, he took out of the house. My brother didn't even have mattresses. So he took a mattress from the house. And my brother had no money. It was first, the job that he has, they don't pay it till after 2-3 months. And he found in the mattress money. And the money he was able to live by. So when he gets to make the eulogy, he said, I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story how this guy I know gave to a poor man who had no money to eat, and the family's starving, and he gave money to it. Anybody know where did I never heard this stingy miser gave money? It's a true story. Talk about it. Over here, it's tape.
Okay. Stand here.
Okay.
I want to explain to you, take a second, explain to you the scene when you used to go see this man, Captain Berger. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was born in Hungary, and he came with his family. There were 5 girls and boys. They came to New York. He was born in 1920. They were so poor, the parents couldn't hold on to the kids. They had to give the kids, and he was one of the kids, to an orphanage and into foster homes. So he did not grow up. They did not have the money to hold their family together. It's a true story. I don't know what was happening in New York in those days, but it was a Jewish family, and that's what happened. So he grew up in orphanages, in foster homes. When he was at the height of his wealth, which is in about the mid-'80s, he owned the largest fleet, privately held fleet of container ships, either in America or the world. He had 24 container ships. These huge ships that sailed all over the world. He had the largest private fleet. And he started from mamish nothing. And so I just wanted to describe to you. He was a powerful, he's a big guy. He's a big guy who must have been about 6'2", broad shoulders. They called him Captain Berger. I don't know if he ever actually was a captain. He did go to the Merchant Marine Academy in Sands Point, New York, and he also went to Cornell Law School. He was not a dumb guy, but very gruff. He would talk to you like, "Arr." So you go in to see this guy, and it was a trip. It was, and I used to say to myself, it was like Yom Hadin. Lahavdil. Why? You'd come in to see him, the whole thing would take maybe a minute. He'd say to you, "Hi, how you doing?" Say, "Hi, Captain, how are you?" Blah, blah, blah. I brought this for you, this gift, Good, sit down. How much you want? So my style is I like to talk to the guy, how are you? Pictures, the family. None of that stuff. Right to the, how much you want? I'd say, well, Yeshiva needs $10,000. The way he worked was like this. He used to put you in a box. You could never get more than he had in his mind. You could get less, though, if you didn't know how to play this game. This was the game. So my box, that was a $10,000 box. I couldn't get more than that. If I jumped up and down, it didn't make a difference. I could get less, though. So he'd come in, how much you want? And he had already decided. So I say, $10,000. He says, no, I don't have that. Now you have to understand, this is the biggest guy you're going to see. And your whole trip is like, depending on this, your emotions like, whoop, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down. So the guy said, sorry, don't have it. Now, it's all a game, So you say, I have $2,000 for you. That's what he said. So what happens is, the psychology is, the nature is, you go down, you begin to make your cheshbons. Well, I have to pay this, I have to pay my kollel, I have to pay this, and the bank's overdraft. How much is the least amount the guys you can get from the guy? So you say, listen, I have to have $7,000. Okay, $7,000. That's what you got. Go. So it took me once or twice, I don't really remember, to figure out the game, what was going on. Because I realized that it was just in the thing. It was just you had to keep the ball balanced. So the next time I went in, I don't remember if it was a half a year later, I don't remember. So I went and the same thing happened. I go, Captain, how much you need? $10,000. No, I don't have that kind of money. I can give it, $3,000. So then I realized you have to hold on. Because you think that the guy says, when he says he doesn't have you, he's not going to give you anything, or 2,000. He's not going to give you any. That's what you're. So I say, no, I need 10,000. That's what I need. Fine, that's what you got. Takes out the pen, writes a check, gives it to you. Give my warmest regards to your father. You're in and out. You walk out of that place. The whole thing took a minute. A minute, 2 minutes. He doesn't want to see pictures. Doesn't want to see nothing. He ended up. Rabbi and I were making the cheshbon before. He probably gave more money to the yeshiva. Maybe the Stearns who gave the building like that, than anybody, because he was, and he didn't ask for any cover. He did not want a building. He did not want like that. But he would give. But it was like you'd go in there, and about in a minute, my father tells the story. He was a member of my father's congregation. That's how I got there. So the first time my father went to see him, they were from my father's alma mater. They were jacking up my father to go see him. They wanted $100,000. So my father in those days also didn't know how to raise money. Captain Berger taught us how to raise money. So it was like a lesson. You learned how to do it. So he went in, my father, and he calls up the captain. Captain, I want to come see you. Fine, come over. So he walks into the office, and as he's walking in, and my father's nervous, and how is he going to do it? Talk with the captain. Says, come on, we're going to lunch. Puts his arm around him. Some of his shipbuilders from Japan were there. So he says, come on, Rabbi, we're going to lunch. Good. So he's in a building. They're waiting. He pushes the button for the elevator. They're waiting for the elevator. He's standing. As my father tells me the story later. They're standing there together, looking at the elevator. The numbers come down, and he says to my father, "Rabbi, how much you want?" So my father says, $100,000. That's what they told him to say. $100,000. So he goes, "No, I'm giving you $50,000, not a cent more." And that's it. A week later, the check arrives, $50,000. Boom. That's how he worked. That's how he worked. Captain Berger. Anybody who knows who went to see him knows that was like, wow, I own the Nora. How did he start giving money? When he was starting out, which was in the mid-60s, when he started getting his own fleet, one of his friends called up and said, listen, Leo, I want you to give some money to these. I'm saying a rabbi over you, I want to give you some money. I want to give them some money. And he really didn't have the money to give. In those days, these guys, they tell you how much they, one guy would say, listen, the rabbi's coming over, give him $25,000. He didn't have $25,000, whatever, I don't know what the figure is. So he said, okay, I decided I'd give the rabbi money. See? He said, that year I made more money than I ever did. Unexpectedly, he didn't say Hashem, he said, I saw money came in. I didn't expect the money. He said, and he made the connection himself, it was because of the tzedakah. And he said, every year I gave, the more I gave, the more money I made. So that was the system. And he says, therefore I give. He gives. And that was him.
What was his reason for giving before he saw the connection?
He was told to give. You give. He gave to a lot of different things. Over in his height, he gave over $1 million a year of money. And he had some big things. He built a building in Boys Town here in Jerusalem that for a long time was one of his biggest things. He helped build, I know, in my father's shul, he helped build part of the building. He gave, there was a story where when the Soviet Jewry was happening, it was a big thing. So congregations in America, they were trying to get, the Soviet Jewry committees were trying to get congregations in America to sponsor a 747 to bring Russian Jews from Moscow, Leningrad, to Israel, direct. And each plane, I think, was $400,000 to charter a 747. So I remember one time, my father's shul did it. So they were short. They got up to about $250,000. They needed about $150,000. So what does my father do? He goes, sees the captain. So he goes to the captain again. He gave him basically on the spot a check for $100,000. And he was like, no chachmas, no, and did not demand covet, nothing. That's who he was. So I know for myself it was in education. Besides having tremendous hakaras, I thought he taught me how to do that parsha of a thing. And you can imagine myself when I figured out that game and how to win it, that thing. I myself personally was tremendously happy. And that's it. He didn't really have very much else besides the money. Interestingly enough, he never had any children. He married a woman. They never had children together. She had a child from her previous marriage. And but a lot of people depend on him, from her family, from his nieces and nephews, from his own brothers and sisters, and he supported them all. I forget at what time, it was like, 7, 8 families were all dependent on him and his money. And he gave them a lot. And besides that, he was like a simple person. That's the story. His name is Shem Tov Ben Yosef. I'm going to make a Kelmele Rachamim. And I bought some stuff for a Kiddush here. People should have in mind for today's is his Shloshim. He died a month ago. He had fallen and broken his hip. I spoke to him when I was in the States in May. It was the last time I spoke to him on the phone. The last few years he did not come up to New York anymore. He sold the business, stayed in Florida. And I spoke to him, and he fell about 3 months ago. He broke his hip, and everyone knows for older people, when you fall and break your hip, it's hard because you have to lie in bed alone and the lungs fill up. And eventually, apparently, that's what happened to him, and he died of a heart attack. So, his name is Shem Tov Ben Yosef. So when we have later we have the Kiddush, please have it in mind. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamiroimim. Ametzeh Menucha Nechoino Al Kanfei Hashchino B'Malos Kedoshim U'Toirim Kezohar Harakiyo Masyirin et Nishma Shem Tov Ben Yosef Shalach Lo Ilamo Bavur Shaishira Nadav Tzedakah L'Tzedakah Ba'ar Hashkaras Nishmaso.
Gotta mind the cake.
B'gan Eden Tiyeh Menuchaso L'chein Bala Rachamim Yastireu B'Tseser Knafav Lo Ilomim V'yitzror Achayim En Nishmaso Adonai Hu Nachlaso V'yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavo V'noimar Amen.
Let me get down and say Kaddish.
Yeah.